I've had the Oculus Quest 2 for quite some time now, and I've learned a lot of things here and there, and a few of them are not necessarily good things. Now, don't get me wrong, that isn't to say I don't love this device. It's still my main for any wireless PCVR. I mean, it's the only headset I have that can do wireless PCVR. But whether you're a new Quest 2 owner, or you've had the device for quite some time now, I feel like there's a few things that you should know, because this thing could potentially be a hazard. So, as usual, in case you enjoyed today's video, make sure to smack the little subscribe button down below, and let's get right into it. So, I have the VR treadmill video brewing for you guys in the background. I think I might have that out tomorrow, but today we're going to talk about quite a few things that have kind of been coming out about the Quest 2 during the last, say, half a year that we shouldn't turn a blind eye on, because as you'll see later on today, some of them could lead to some pretty bad results. But first, all the emails and all the social media connections that I have been getting regarding your Facebook accounts. A lot of people are saying their Facebook accounts just got blocked, just got disconnected, and apparently their Quest 2s are worthless now. They're just not working. And this has been happening very recently. I've been contacted by multiple people telling me about this, and this is an issue. A lot of these people wanted me to quote unquote do something about this. And as much as I would love to do that, I'm sorry guys, the most I can do is shine a light on it, because I have zero Oculus representatives. I am not an Oculus ambassador, and I have zero connections at Facebook whatsoever. So the most I can do is shine a light on this. This is not okay, and you losing access to a device you have, not even just because you don't want a Facebook account, but because they decided that your Facebook account had something wrong with it. Maybe it didn't. It's just really stupid. But now let's move on to the actual dangerous side of the Quest. There is a few dangerous sides of the Quest, and a lot of them resolve to the fact that you are wearing one or maybe even two batteries on your head. I prefer not to think about this way, but if you have the Elite head strap with battery, you are quite literally a battery sandwich. You've got a battery in the back and a battery in the front. And yes, usually lithium-ion batteries are safe, usually, if you don't look at the Samsung incidents. But if the device is handled incorrectly or charged incorrectly, it can lead to some pretty bad results. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be intentional. It's not like a lot of people are using a wrong charger or something along those lines. Recently, I've been seeing a lot more threads, a lot more comments coming out about people's charging ports melting. It just seems like it's inflating instead of going down. And I'm sure not everyone inside these comments is charging their Quest incorrectly. Now, I do fully understand that this is a minority. Now, I have just realized that my Quest 2 is incredibly dirty, but that doesn't matter. This little port here, I don't really use, and this seems to be the one with the issue. I use the one at the back. In the past, I would be very fast to recommend magnetic chargers, and I still am, actually. I really enjoy them. They make most of your cables universal, and they exist for Type-C, Lightning, and micro USB. But the problem with those is, it's really hard to find a cable long enough for link capabilities, and even if you do, the bandwidth isn't going to be ideal. So a lot of people just don't want to use them. But just in case you do, I'm gonna leave a link down below in case you're interested. In case you are using the link, and in case you are using charging on the Quest 2, what I would recommend you do is you get yourself a right-angled cable, exactly like the one you get with the Elite head strap. These are a lot easier to find, and they drastically reduce the risk of you hitting the cable by accident in case you're gaming. Another something you should do is you should tie the cable down somewhere here. And I don't mean tie it down lightly like this. You can see this is loose. I mean tie it down firm enough so that it can't move. That way, even if you pull on the cable or you stand on it or something, it will pull on here instead, if you know what I'm trying to say. Now, a lot of people might not want to pull on the Elite head strap for reasons that are, well, obvious. I have spoken to a few people that know a lot more about the inside of the Quest than I do. It seems that the port inside here is wired up in a way that may not be exactly perfect. It seems that there is a spot for arcs inside this charging port, and if handled incorrectly, if, I don't know, moved around a little bit, it will arc and it will melt. Now, if you put 1 and 2 together, you will realize that you have 2 batteries on your face, or 1. Any arc, any kind of smoke, any kind of heat is dangerous. And while Facebook may have done all they could to downclock the XR2 inside the Quest 2 and make it so that it doesn't overheat and doesn't cause damage to your face, well, this may have been overshadowed. I do want to make it very clear, this is a minority, and not that many. But let's start reducing it instead of increasing it. Please take care of your charging port. That thing is super fragile. It was fragile on the Quest 1, and it's also fragile on the Quest 2. And just take care of yourselves. And, you know, it's not gonna look good if we start seeing headlines saying headsets are exploding on people's faces. Now, I don't think that has ever happened yet, which is great, but the more standalone devices we're gonna start seeing, the more kind of quality control I think issues might start to arise. And, you know, till now, we've really not had that many VR headsets with batteries inside. It's mostly just been connect to PC. But now, there's a huge rise in standalone VR. Another something that could be dangerous is children in VR, okay? Yeah, I know, Thrillseeker already talked about this, which is why I'm not going to talk about the same thing he talked about. Make sure to check out his video on this in case you already haven't. But children in VR, it's something that has been entirely on the rise since the Quest 2 came out, and it's something we have seen a lot. And while I don't think children in VR on its own is bad, a lot of them tend to not behave correctly, okay? I'm saying this in front of the camera. This is the first time I have ever said this, but it's true. And I have noticed it as well. And while we have had interactions with children during like meetups and stuff, they've mostly been pretty much chill. And if you're not one of these kids and you're watching this right now, don't take this personally. I don't know what it is, but they are super toxic. Enter Echo VR. I don't know. Echo VR seems to be the most toxic game I have ever played for no reason. I love that game. I really do, but the toxicity in it is actually insane. And it didn't used to be like this. I don't know what happened. VR chat as well. I mean, yeah, a lot of them flock into VR chat. I'd say a lot of them are also going into Rec Room now. It's just experiences that I've had with children that I don't personally know, that, let's say, don't watch the channel. Just think of me as a random person, you know, because I think that when people watch the channel, they're going to kind of maybe quote unquote respect you a little bit more. But if they don't know who you are and you're just a random person to them, they are going to be toxic as hell. I would say 70% of the time. It's actually scary. There's no doubt in my mind that that number will be increasing. Even though the minimum age for the Quest 2 is, I think, 13 years of age, that number is definitely not being held. I promise you that there are children in VR lower in age than 13, which, by the way, could be detrimental towards their development of motor skills, which is what Thrillseeker was talking about. He essentially made a PSA video talking about why you shouldn't put your kids in VR, why it could be bad for them, and he explained it through an article, through a research study that was done. If that study was done correctly, and if it is to be believed, that's bad. But there's also that social aspect of them possibly ruining games for other people in VR. And I'm sorry to say this, but that is the case. I'm sure I'm not the only one here saying this, and I really don't want to talk about this because this can be controversial, and I know that there is younger people watching me. And again, if you're not one of these people, don't take it personally. If you are, chill. Jesus, like why? Stop kind of being a dick. If you want to be negative, create a private lobby or whatever, and get off public lobbies. We don't need that. Anyway, let me know what your experiences are with younger people in VR. I don't want to say kids, it just sounds weird. And what you think about that research study. Do you think children should be allowed in VR? And what do you think the kind of starting age should be? And now we're going to move on to a few pieces of news, as we usually do towards the end of these videos. Medal of Honor barely fits on the 64GB Oculus Quest 2. I made a video about this in the past, about why the 64GB version of the Oculus Quest 2 should not have existed. It was a mistake, and it was either greatly underestimated, chip shortages, or Facebook just wanted to make it happen. Because, you know, be like Apple. We have no microSD card slot, which is a pain, no expandable storage, and just as we were promised, the 64GB Oculus Quest 2 barely fits Medal of Honor. Facebook no longer sells the 64GB version of the Oculus Quest 2. They now sell the 128GB version, and there's no doubt in my mind that part of the reason for them doing this was the fact that they knew larger games were going to start coming out, which in itself is not a bad thing. But now these people with the 64GB version are kind of left in the dust, and if you do use your Quest for standalone and are angry about this, I'm with you. Since 11.3GB of the 64GB version are taken up by system, and Medal of Honor takes up just over 41GB of storage on the Oculus Quest 2. If you have the 64GB version and are thinking of getting Medal of Honor, you're only going to be able to get that one game, and you're going to need to finish it, and then you're going to have to download whatever you want next, which is an awful shame. This is a very interesting one, because exclusives normally stay as exclusives, but XPSVR exclusive Winds and Leaves is coming to PCVR next month. Winds and Leaves, which launched as a PSVR exclusive earlier this year, is landing on PCVR next month. The game has been listed on Steam with a December 8th release date. Developer Trebuchet says this version of the game will feature enhanced visuals and support for room scale tracking. Other than that, expect the full 4 to 5 hour adventure. That's pretty cool. You know, I'm not a fan of exclusives. I never was, I never will be, but I understand why companies make them, and I see the kind of benefits of them, you know, for a certain system. Exclusives have been a thing since like forever, so this isn't going to change, but it's cool to see one coming out of that exclusive zone. I wonder if we're going to see more of those in the future. Oculus Quest, PSVR, and PCVR MMO, Zenith reveals cooking mechanisms in a new video. This is really cool. You guys know I love Zenith. We had it pre-ordered, we tested it out on a live stream, and now it seems developer Ramen VR has posted a look at cooking in action on Reddit this week. The short clip reveals a pretty active system, with players chopping ingredients, putting them in frying pans, and then making sure not to burn them before stashing them in their inventory. That's pretty cool. You know, we haven't seen a kind of fully blown game that kind of has all these mechanisms already put together. You know, like in VR chat, you could probably get this done, but you'd have to make it yourself. It seems like Zenith is going to be like a fully blown place where you might just be able to hang out with your friends, you know, in the future. Kind of like VR chat, just a fully, not only MMO, but just a fully blown social game. You know, maybe have a house, you know, cook in there, chill with your friends. Could be quite interesting. I know it's an MMO, not necessarily supposed to be seen as something like VR chat, but just an interesting thought for you right there. I've seen this one on Twitter. This one's really funny. Iceland tourism video mocks Meta's Connect keynote with the Iceland verse. Yeah, I was actually recommended this on Twitter and I laughed so hard. Guys, I was in Iceland in the past. It is the most beautiful place. My parents, they used to live there when I wasn't born yet, and they just took us there a few years back, and it is the most beautiful place. I will most certainly be going back, and if you guys ever have the chance, visit Iceland. Seriously, something just pushed me all of a sudden into those memories now, and it's amazing. Iceland's new tourism promo brilliantly mocks last month's Connect conference from Meta, asking people to step into the Icelandverse. The video sees the Visit Iceland group lampoon Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse presentation, in which CEO painted a picture of a future in which people commonly wore VR headsets to meet up with others online for both work and play. But Chief Visionary Officer Zach Masborgerson, who looks more than a little similar, argues that you can connect to the world without being super weird, and that you don't need silly looking headsets. Okay, look, they're silly now, but I still believe VR is the future. I do think that some places are worth visiting in real life. I mean, a lot of places are worth visiting in real life, including social interactions. I still think social interaction in real life, when possible, is better than in VR, at least for now. But silly? Are you calling us silly? Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video, guys. I know the beginning wasn't necessarily the most positive part, but I do feel like shining light on these negative sides as well. I can't all just be positive constantly, and there are issues that need to be addressed. Again, please take care of yourselves, have fun, and just remember from time to time, you are wearing batteries on your face, and if you ever feel it gets a little too hot, you might want to take a break. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching today. I hope you all have a fantastic day or night. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like. If you guys disliked it, I guess this button works too, but please tell me why down in the comment section below. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord down below and check out our Reddit, where I want to see you posting your spicy memes. Thank you so much to the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys help the channel out a lot. You help me pay my bills, buy better gear, and just overall make these videos better. So thank you so much for that. And if you guys would like to support the channel in any way, shape, or form, we've got sick mugs that boost your FPS by 300% and merch that does not put a huge ad on your body. And of course, in case you guys want to be notified about future content coming up on the channel daily, make sure to smack that subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.